Hey, I'm Justin Saxton. Happy to be here at our Forest Park podcast. I have Neil Hemphill with us. We got one there, one over there. There you go. So
we just stare into the camera.
You can look over there. You can
just
chat and look with me. That's
right.
Fine too.
That sounds good.
So I met Neil earlier, maybe last year, cross country.
Yep.
Our daughters were on the cross country team, and you guys have started to come to church here. So maybe just start by telling us a little bit about your family and how you guys landed at Forest Park.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah. So we've been coming here about a year and a half. Well, let me start with my family, just because that's probably the important part, right?
Sure.
So married to Jen. We've been married for 22 years, I think, in October. And I think is a bad way to say that because I could get myself into trouble. The only problem is she probably is just as bad at remembering things as I am. So I'm pretty sure it was 22 years in next October.
Okay.
And 2 kids, 2 girls, Jessica and Allison. Jessica is 18. She just finished her freshman year at Grand Valley, and she's in the wanting to get into the nursing program, and super driven towards that type of stuff. You know, kind of gets into the gore of what maybe in the medical field. It's kind of weird, but she definitely likes that stuff. And then Allison is 15. She's a freshman at Shores, obviously nearing the end of her freshman year there. She's kind of into everything else. You know, she does some sports, not because she loves to be an athlete, but because she loves the social aspect of it.
Okay.
Does choir, student senate, you know, a little bit of everything, but kind of on the social side of it. So she likes to be part of all that.
Her, I saw her at the most recent concert, the Pops, where they did their. Yep. She was in a ton of acts. Is that like one of her favorite?
Oh yeah,
of those,
she loves that stuff. The singing Christmas tree, pretty much any of that.
Okay.
And she does like to perform, but I don't know that she loves to be the center of attention, but she loves to be out there, and she just really likes to be part of stuff like that. So it's definitely a passion for her.
Yeah, that's fun.
Yeah, and if you've seen my wife, she's about 4'10". She's about this tall. I'm a little taller than that. I'm about 6'5". So we look a little funny together, but it works. It works, and it's been more than half my life that we've been together, and it's a great relationship, and I'm thankful for all of them.
Yeah, isn't that cool to get to a point where you spent more time with her than without? Yeah,
absolutely. And it's like, well, it wasn't hard to get there. It just kind of happened. We met, and it was easy. It's always been kind of easy, and it's kind of ironic when we met. We were a year apart in high school, went to the same high school, had a lot of the same friends in common, but didn't know each other.
Okay.
And probably if we would have known each other, maybe it wouldn't have worked out because I've probably grown up a little bit after that. And but ultimately met after we were both done with high school, and it's where we're at. So
that's cool. Always
kind of been there, and always been pretty easy.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Never had to work. It's just being in a relationship with your best friend. It makes it easy.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
That's really cool. How did you guys connect and land at Forest Park? You said you've been here about a year and a half.
Yep, about a year and a half. Well, Allison had been invited by Lauren Hall. She's a friend of hers, and to do the youth group, and she started coming here. And obviously, youth group. I think it was on Wednesday nights initially when she came, and just loved it. Said great things about it, and it made it easy for when we decided to start coming here, and already knew how well that Allison liked it and enjoyed it, so it was easy. I know you asked me this question the other day. We went to went to lunch there and kind of caught up a little bit, and I shared a little bit of the story, which I think you might have referred to it in your message the other week, unless you had somebody else that was a very similar conversation. But I shared with you that we hadn't been going to church, and for whatever reasons it is, and just kind of we got to the point where we just thought it felt right. And why not come here? And then, I kind of told you the hard parts about it were walking through the door.
Yeah.
And, once we got here, we were welcomed, and it just felt right. We had gone to other places a few different times, but it just never really connected, and never, really was the right time for us. So, for what that is, it's, there's probably a few more pieces to the puzzle there that I didn't share with you when we went to lunch.
Sure.
But, so kind of going back in the history, and I don't want to overshare in this conversation, but I'll give a little bit of my story, I guess. So it was probably, 2.5 years ago, maybe, 2.5 years ago, I think it was. So I had gotten sick, and so went through some kind of rough times, and all good now. Everything's on the good side of it and going the right direction. But when that happened, you rethink things. Not to say that this is now I'm looking to God differently than what I did before. It was just a reminder, I guess, and that helped to maybe open our eyes a little bit to what's more important and where we wanted to be. And it just, again, felt like the right time, and it felt like the right place.
Okay. So you had something that kind of maybe challenged your perspective, your priorities.
Yeah.
And you kind of said, maybe let's make some adjustments.
Yeah. Yeah.
And your whole family went along with that? Like, sure, no problem.
It was really weird because it was more me starting out where I'm the one, I think I told you this part of it. We woke up one day and said, hey, let's go. I'd been thinking about it, and I did say that. And as soon as I said it, Jen's like, yeah, I'm in, let's go. She's pretty easy to get along with when it comes to that stuff. And like I said, Allie was already coming here, so she was pretty comfortable, but it wasn't like we were trying to talk the kids into doing one thing or another, but it just was natural. And they looked forward to it. And it just became part of our Sunday, part of our routine, and just love where it's going, and very thankful that we have that opportunity.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool. There has to be something, I mentioned this to you before because I've seen you at cross-country meets and whatever, and besides like loving your family, which of course every dad loves their family, but I remember saying to you, it seems like you guys actually like each other.
Yeah.
And times I've seen you interact, and just even from a distance, like it's cool to see that your family actually seems to like each other.
Which, by the way, that's like probably the best compliment I've ever had. So thank you for that.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I mean, again, the girls are awesome, easy to get along with, and I gotta say most of that ends up being my wife and how well she does with everything. But we do like to be around each other. We enjoy it. 3 girls in the house. Obviously, I'm outnumbered, and I sometimes just have to go with whatever is happening. But we do enjoy each other, and I'm thankful for that. I can't tell you that there's a secret recipe except for lots of communication, lots of talking, and just being there. I wish there was something that I could really say, hey, let's bottle this up and send it out there. But it's always kind of working on communication and talking, and the girls are just awesome. They're so easy to get along with. They've got awesome personalities, and it's fun to be around them.
Yeah.
And so I think we all like each other. It kind of makes me think, over this last weekend, Jen and I were outside kind of messing around in the yard or whatever, and doing some odds and ends. And the girls were inside, and they said they would make breakfast, and we were going to go do some stuff. And Jen opens the door and looks, and they're, I think they were waiting for something to warm up or whatever for breakfast. And the two of them are sitting there, playing a game and just enjoying each other's time. And, Jen comes back out. She's like, oh, that makes my heart so happy. And it's just awesome to be able to see, the two of them get along. They're sisters. And sometimes that can end up being a little bit, but really almost none. The only time that I've ever really seen them get after each other is when one borrows some clothes and doesn't return it, or some version of that. And, So they most of the time get along, and they look forward to being around each other. I think they're 3 years apart, so I think they're just far enough apart that they have a good relationship, but not too close, And so I know, I said Jessica had went away to school, Grand Valley this year, and I know Allie was just lost without her initially, and it was a big deal for them not to be together every day. Now, thankful for the fact that Jess liked coming home, and she came home on a fairly regular basis. So we did get to see her a lot while she was gone at school. I don't know how long that'll last, but it's there right now. And
so since she comes back, pretty often. It doesn't have to be a hard adjustment or a big adjustment once she's home for the whole summer kind of thing.
It didn't. I mean, it's a little bit, but
Sure.
no, it wasn't like redoing everything. We still had our routine. She's still got to find her routine a little bit more.
Yeah.
Right now, and she's got a job, and that's gonna get kind of set up where she's used to doing certain things on a certain schedule, and so I guess a little bit to get used to, but not a lot. She was probably home. She was home most Sundays. She'd come home for church, and then we do our Sunday afternoon dinner, family dinner, and excuse me, it was.
So is that a consistent thing that you've done for a while?
It is. We kind of just started on more or less accident. It was Sunday and nice weather, and we grill out or whatever, and we just kind of kept doing it. We have sometimes the kids' friends will come over. We got some family friends that join us, and it's just kind of our day, and think about Luke's message from last week, and that's our day, and again, thankful for that time. We don't do too much with it, we just enjoy each other's company, and it's fun. It's good time for family bonding.
Well, yeah, and thinking about even what Luke said, I remember he said, make sure we're talking about Sabbath and rest, and make sure you're with people that are not so draining and people that are encouraging and uplifting.
Yeah.
And sometimes family can be both, but clearly you guys have worked towards making that somehow like encouraging, fun, uplifting, like for everyone.
Yeah.
That's a really cool thing.
Yeah. The girls, they like to play games. They talk. They talk a lot. So, personality wise on the girls, Jessica and I are probably a little closer to each other on like maybe some of the detail stuff. We're both a little structured and maybe over organized. Some people might say like OCD type of thing.
Yeah.
Jen and Allie are maybe a little more free spirits. Once in a while I'll tease Jen about she never puts anything in the same place twice. So sometimes it makes it a little more difficult to find things, but so that's kind of those two. But then the flip side of that, Allie and I are probably both more like a little reserved. We don't necessarily need to be the center of attention. And, if we don't have anything going on, we're fine just kind of hanging out and chilling. And Allie calls it, I don't know, actually this might have been a term that Jessica had coined, but rotting in her bed. You ever heard that?
Yes.
I don't know if that's a good term or not, but it's basically when she just hangs out in her room or whatever. So she needs it every once in a while for, to kind of recover and get where she needs to be. I'm kind of a little bit more like that.
Yeah.
Jessica and Jen are absolutely not like that.
Okay.
They cannot stand to be alone, love to be around other people. I feel like they have a quota of words that they have to get out in a day. And if for some reason they didn't get them out early in the day, you're going to hear all of it in the afternoon. And they definitely like to talk and tell their stories. And they're very excited and animated. And usually one person will tell a story and then the volume will keep going up and up. And
So it gets pretty loud.
it definitely does. So 3 girls at our house, that definitely, they rule the place. So
Yeah.
they often will get into this like weird giggle. I don't know if you've ever seen this before, but 3 girls giggling. Who knows what they're even laughing at or talking. I don't think they even know a lot of the time, but they'll just giggle and they can't say any words. And they just kind of look at each other with this weird giggle. And it's like me, I'm frustrated. So I'm like, just tell me what you guys got going on.
Yep.
And I have no idea. And they enjoy each other so much, and thankful for that.
That's cool. So you said you guys like to play games a lot. So if you split up in 2v2 in games or whatever, who's on whose team usually?
Well, Jessica and I are a little bit more competitive.
Okay.
So we both try a little harder to win.
Okay.
And, which will, end up with a little friction sometimes, where if we're playing a game that's, we can get a little more aggressive with making sure we win. And both Jessica Allison and Jen, they don't really care.
Yeah.
They just like to play. So
Yeah, because I know we've learned in our family, like there's certain people in our family, probably best not to pair them up.
yeah.
You'd probably split up so-and-so, but the game will go better that way.
Yeah, we usually, we'll divide out, and most of the time, Jessica and I end up, on the same team, and but there's plenty of times where we're not, and then we chirp each other a little bit and have a good time with it. So it's fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me just pick your brain. I know you said that you don't have any secret sauce or anything, but would you say like there's something about being a father that has really impacted you or has maybe changed your perspective just with world, with work, with relationships or anything? Is there just anything special about being a father that sticks out to you?
Well, I mean, it's easy to say, yeah, I never knew I would love anybody that much. And, it's kind of like, that's an easy response, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, absolutely. I love those girls more than I could have ever imagined. But I guess if I said it this way, probably before we had kids, I was said, I want to have boys so that sports and cars and tools and all the things that I like. Mm-hmm. And then I end up with 2 girls, and it wasn't any of the things that I necessarily enjoy. I don't like to go shopping. Some of the girly stuff is just not what I want to do. But in hindsight, I wouldn't change it for the world. Being a girl dad's awesome. Mm-hmm. They're so much fun to be around, and I just love having them around. But again, once in a while, you're like, oh yeah, there's a lot of emotions in the room, and I don't know if that answers the question or not. But,
sure, I was just kind of curious.
Yeah,
have they got you involved in any of their interests, and or you get them involved in any of your like cars or tools interests or anything like that?
Well, I have to be involved in their interests because they like to talk about it.
Sure.
But once in a while. So just a couple weekends ago, Allie and I were working on some furniture thing that we were putting together, and actually I take that back. It wasn't even the furniture. I think we did that a while back. We built some shelves.
Okay.
And so she was all about trying to help, and she was doing the hard work, and it was awesome to do that with her, and she's genuinely seemed interested in it.
That's cool.
So does she do it all the time? No. But will I ask her? Yeah.
Yeah.
Jessica, there was a time. So you stopped by not that long ago. You seen the Land Cruiser.
Yeah. Yeah.
And she called it a Jeep once, and I wasn't so happy about that. But every once in a while, she'll get interested in something like that. And we probably haven't done a lot of that together, but she'll at least talk to me about it and listen to me talk about it better than anything else, until she calls it a Jeep, and then the conversation's over. But
done. You're cut off.
Yeah. So the other weekend, I think it was last weekend, she was talking about how she wanted to learn how to drive a manual transmission with that vehicle, and I'm like, yeah, that's probably not the right one to learn on, but maybe we'll try something there. So. I guess they show interest out of courtesy for me.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I guess if I'm thinking, go back, football, sitting on the couch. Allie loves watching football. Mm-hmm. Jessica, I don't know, not as much. But Allie will always look forward to sitting down and watching the Lions or whatever. And she's absolutely engaged. And, that's always fun to do with her.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, they do a good job of at least humoring me to make sure that I get to do some of my stuff. But, I think I've spent my fair share of time waiting outside of a clothing store of some sorts and waiting for them to try stuff on and shop. So, I guess that's my part. I'm not sure that I'm going to give good fashion advice or anything like that, but I at least will patiently wait.
Yeah.
Maybe not always patient, but I'll wait. I haven't left him there.
Yeah. That's what I have one boy and 3 girls, and then Jake ends up going away to school, and all of a sudden there's 3 girls plus my wife in the house. And then I was like, oh wow, this dynamic really changed.
Yeah.
And it really did. Having just girls in the house it was fun though too.
Yeah.
A lot more conversations, and there were maybe heightened emotions, but that's probably all of us, I think, in there. It was really fun. In general, would you say that there's a certain part about being a father that's the hardest, or anything that you're like, oh man, this is the hardest thing, or this is the thing that I've tried to figure out the most, or?
Well, it's easy to say in this season right now, Jessica leaving scared me.
Sure.
I didn't know how that was going to go.
Yeah.
I expected the worst of, she's going to go away to school and I'm only going to see her during holidays. And, I know she only went to Grand Valley. It's not that far away, but I thought we were, losing that connection, which we'll never lose it, but and she needs to grow up, and I understand all that, but it is a little scary. So that was definitely something recently, but I think, and then again, Allie's, not that far behind. A few years from now, and she'll be doing the same thing. And not that I don't love being with my wife, it'll just be quiet. It'll be different.
Yeah.
And I'll have to entertain Jen all day, and the kids help with that right now. So, but I guess if I go back in time and think about, as the kids have grown up, when they were young, I didn't, my job at the time, I worked out of town and didn't have a very flexible schedule, so I missed stuff. And that was the hard part for me. And I know I needed to do it. It was part of, providing.
Sure.
And I know why I did it, but I do miss some of those things. And I don't want to say regrets because I don't try to regret anything, but that was tough. I wish I could go back, but it's what it is.
Yeah.
So, I didn't get to go to everything, but my wife did. So that was awesome. And I know that she was able to do, all the field trips and, the things at school and all that stuff. So I might not have gotten all of it, but I know it was done. So I'm thankful for that part too.
Yeah. Well, and in a way you kind of tag team because you were working together with your wife to make sure she can do that stuff or someone can at least be there.
Yeah. Yep. And she's better at that stuff than me anyway. So I know where my strengths and weaknesses are.
All right.
And chasing kids at a school event or field trip or something, it's probably not me. I've done it a few times, but it's it's definitely better off being in her court there.
Yeah. So I just have, it's been graduation season and I've chatted with a couple graduation families, and you're right in that a lot are very scared about their kids going off. There are very few that are excited about it and supportive and hopeful. You said you were scared, but you're glad now. What advice would you give to somebody who's about to send off a kid?
Yeah. You just have to do it and make sure you're intentional about everything else. If it's, when you visit, when they visit, when you call, whatever has to be intentional. Because if not, you don't know what they're going to be doing and how busy they're going to be. And if you don't make the time, you got to remind them to be available. So, I don't have much better advice than that because it's still scary.
That's pretty good advice though. Yeah. Like if you said you don't have a special sauce, I would guess that's part of it.
Yeah.
Like being intentional as a parent, choosing to make the time, choosing to be available.
Yeah.
That's a hard thing to do. And not everybody does it, right?
Right.
So, and it's hard, but obviously you guys have done it and you can see the fruit of your relationships and that's paid off.
Yeah. Yeah, it's been good.
That's cool. That's exciting. What about seeing their life and their faith kind of grow? Has that been exciting to see? Has that been nerve-wracking, or how do you view that?
Yeah. Well, on the faith side of it, like I said, when we started coming here, we didn't necessarily say this is what we're going to do as a family or put any kind of ultimatum or even expectations for that matter. We just said, we're getting up and going to church. And they went, oh, wait for us. We're going to go too. And that was awesome.
Yeah.
And it was, kids sometimes, I'd rather sleep in or whatever.
Sure.
And so for us to not have to ask and know that they wanted to be part of this, then, as we've spent the time and, we'll talk about the message afterwards and talk, through our day. And it's been a little bit more of who we are now and where we're at. So it is fun to watch that happen. And I know they're great. They're great girls and, they got great hearts, and this just helps them to see more and what else is out there. Yeah. So it's awesome. As far as them, they're just great. They're awesome personalities. They're so fun to be around, and so I told you I was late here a minute ago. I got to share this part of the story.
Yeah.
So Jessica's at Grand Valley. She wants to get into nursing. She's all about it. Just from the first time that she said she had a career path, it was nursing, and she's never wavered, not for a second. So this summer she tried to get a job somehow to be around it, even though she's not truly, into the nursing program yet.
Okay.
So she's working at Holland Hospital. Today's her second day. So yesterday I was expecting her to come home and just talk her ear off about how great it was. And it was orientation. So she listened to people talk about benefits and insurance, and she's like, I don't even need their insurance. I'm still on ours or whatever. Well, Jen talked to her today at her lunch break, and she got to actually do stuff and be around it. So she's doing phlebotomy, is that right? Phlebotomist, if I'm saying that right. Mm-hmm. So somebody let her literally stab them with a needle today, and she got to take blood, and she's all in. She's super excited. I can't wait for her to get home tonight and hear it in person. So I love that energy. I love that excitement, and it's fun to hear that, fun to have that energy in the house.
Yeah.
And Allie's got her things that she's excited to. She might not be as outspoken about them as Jessica is, but it's just fun when they're excited about what they're doing.
That's cool.
So,
it's great to see your kids find something that they really like and are passionate about, and just see them run with it. There's only one person in my house that can handle blood, and it's usually me. Although one daughter is really interested. Natalie is starting to, she can brave helping you with Band-Aids or cuts or whatever. And Melissa and the rest, they're like, yeah, no thanks.
Yeah. Jessica goes looking for it. It's weird. She's a little different when it comes to that stuff. But so there's got to be people like that
for sure.
If not, we wouldn't have any nurses or doctors. So
I know.
It's not necessarily what I'd like to see, but. Yeah, anytime that I'd shared anything, from when I was dealing with a little bit of stuff, Jessica was all interested in, and reading all the notes or seeing anything that I had to show, and I think that was a big turning point for her when that all happened, and I think that was a fair amount of the reason that she wanted to get into nursing, which she might have anyways, but that was. It was different to hear her, and then even in high school when most of us don't pay attention and half take it serious, she comes home and she's telling us all the bones in the body and all these different parts of the brain and the muscles and whatever else, and I don't know that she was excited about doing the dissection, which that doesn't seem like fun to me, but she looked forward to that and couldn't wait to talk about it. So too much probably on the details, but like at dinner, do we really want to hear about that?
Yes.
Not normally when you're eating.
Yes. Yeah. Maybe not at the dinner table. Let's save that for later if you have to.
Yeah. But a lot of excitement towards it. So
that's fun.
Yeah.
I know anytime on student ministry trips or whatever, if we had someone that's either comfortable or been a nurse, they're lifesavers because they can handle those situations and just aren't afraid to dive right in and know what to do. And I'm always grateful for that.
Yeah. Then you don't have to be the...
Exactly. So coming around Forest Park, kind of a new face here. You said it's been pretty welcoming, pretty easy.
It's been awesome. Yeah.
Good.
And again, I know our conversation, we're like, we're the people that go up to the balcony and kind of sit back. Yeah. But there's a lot of people that we've now gotten to be really comfortable, talking with, and we look forward to seeing them. So kind of like our spot.
That's cool.
Creatures of habit where we all like to sit in the same
spot. Well, that's what we were talking about. It's everybody kind of has a spot usually where they've found. I've met another new family, and they actually are moving around.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they're maybe they're trying to find their spot, but I see them at a different spot every week, and that's pretty unusual. It's kind of fun to see your people in your area. And
yeah, I think I said the only time that was that blizzard that we showed up anyways, there was only a few of us here, and we sat in the down at the bottom and at the lower level, and this just looks funny from here. It's too close.
Yeah.
So no, we like our spot, and it's just an awesome community. It's fun to see everybody, and so that reminds me of something. What was it? 2 weeks ago, you guys did the axe throwing for the for the Sunday youth group. So Jessica and Allison look kind of a lot alike. They're 3 years apart, but they kind of look similar. They dress similar, similar color hair, everything. I won't name any names on who this was, but we were walking through the gathering place after the service a couple weeks ago, and somebody was kind of chirping, which ultimately was Jessica, thinking that she was Allison, how this person was going to do a better job at throwing the axes than she was. And it was funny because Jessica didn't even correct him. Just I don't know anything about axe throwing, but whatever, I'll just go with it. So I kind of said, that's actually Jessica. I think you're referring to Allie. She's not here right now. So he's like,
no.
oh, geez, I feel bad. No, don't feel bad. They look the same. So, but just getting that community and getting to know people that way so it can have fun. And
Yeah.
we've done a couple things now that,
Okay.
we did a little, what was that? The dinner group.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So got to meet some more people and have a little bit more community there.
Yeah.
One of our goals was to, do more and be more than just coming to the Sunday service and try to do a little bit more. So that's how you got me talked into this.
There we go. Yep.
So
one step.
yeah. So I had to say yes because
I'm glad you did.
yeah, no, I appreciate the asking though. But yeah, so the more we get to be part of it, the more, more fun it is, the more comfortable it is. And yeah, I love being around the people. And again, that's kind of what just kept us coming back. We kind of stepped out and put ourselves out there to show up, but then everybody was awesome. And we just, every week we want to be here. Could look forward to being here. So I didn't know what to expect when it came to that, but I didn't expect this. It's been just a different feeling. And that's what we needed. That's what I needed specifically as,
Sure.
I was missing something. I didn't know exactly what I was missing and, thought this is maybe a good place to find it. And I was right. And I'm thankful that I, got to be part of it and that everybody's been just awesome. So
I love to hear that because I feel like that's a message for probably people of all ages right now. Like just that bravery to just step out and just keep showing up and find out like, oh, there are other people and they're actually good and they care. And like, this is a good place and church has a lot of great things and great people going on. And I'm really glad that we're here and a part of this.
yeah, absolutely. And, we're still getting to know people, but
Sure.
Whenever, the messages and there's stuff going on and, I just love caring about people and, know that they would care about us in the same circumstances as well.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable place. I'm thankful for you guys and what you do and, how welcoming you guys are. And obviously, if it starts with youth ministry and goes from there, I mean, that's great.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if I could ask for any more. So I appreciate
awesome.
that.
That's awesome. Well, Neil, it's been a pleasure just getting to know you a little bit and sharing you and eventually your family with everybody else. Look forward to seeing where you land and maybe some other areas that you step out in faith and try. And
Yeah, we're all in, so we're gonna get there.
awesome. Well, I can't wait to ask you for more stuff. Then we'll get you involved in other areas.
Please do. I think Allie did reach out to Miss Elena to do the
Yep.
child
Yeah. Work in the kids ministry.
kids ministry. Yeah,
Okay.
thank you. So she's excited about that. I knew she wanted to. I kind of had told you about that, and
Yep.
yeah, Jen and I need to be part of things as well. So
Yeah.
we're looking forward to that.
I'll tell you what, when you just said that, it clicked on something at me. Kyle and his wife, Liz Morellis, their daughter's in the hospital, their new baby, and, we got a food train going, a bunch of people helping out. Allie was one of the first to sign up to help out with that. And I thought that was just so sweet that her heart's like right willing there, like, let's go. And clearly there's parents behind that, like willing to support and help. So,
yeah. Well, ironically, I saw Kyle yesterday at the graduation.
Oh, okay.
So he had been, I think, almost 100% at the hospital.
Yeah.
You probably had talked to him as well, but so he stepped out just to go to the graduation, wanted to see the kids graduate. So got a chance to talk to him for a second, and just an awesome guy. And we've both seen him in the cross country.
Sure.
Very animated.
Yes.
All in.
Yes.
And Allie loves him.
Yeah.
Loves running in cross country, and just that energy is great. So we're praying for him and his baby and it's great.
Yeah. Yeah. Just such a cool thing to see when you have a kid who's willing to do something like that, and let's go, let's do it. Let's help her make it happen.
Yeah.
That's exciting. Well, thanks again, Neil. This has been great. And I hope everybody else gets a chance to meet the Hemphills and say hi to Neil and Jen and keep up the good work, Forest Park. See ya.
Thank you.